Again?
Joni.
Joni, of course, Joni Mitchell. There we go. What a name. I was thinking, there you are, grew up in Mayo. I know that you went to the bright lights of sorry,
Ennis-Tymen.
I'm always the Timon catches me because my mom's from Clare and it's one of those names. But yeah, you went to the bright lights of Ennis-Tymen.
That's great.
And you were at the local musical society. So I'm guessing, right from early on, you were always into music.
I'm always into music. Even when I was in school, I was into music. I was, they do, put on a show every year, and I'd always have a part. And it scares the life out of me, when you're a child and whatever.
Yeah.
But it was wonderful. I mean, the grounding in music from the St. Louis nuns was amazing. I mean, to think we were in the, really the west of Ireland, where I don't know whether the arts at that time were huge. Maybe they were, but not for me. So to have that, the music, the orchestra, we had an orchestra, and singing lessons and wonderful singing teachers. I got a really good start there. Really good.
Most kids dream, some kids dream of sports, some kids dream of music, and some kids films and all that. Would you have sort of dreamt of it at that point? Was it something strong in your mind, or was it?
Yeah. I mean, I would have dreamt that I was going to be on the stage, and I would always have thought that I would have, but it just never happened. If you know what I mean. I mean, I've always sang. Maybe never had the courage really to do the big stage thing when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, when you get to older age, you're not really scared of anything, are you? Really?
Of course, the old Lennon line that life is, what happens when you're making other plans, and the idea that there you are, and of all places, in this time, and you meet the beautiful Eddies all the way over from Florida.
Absolutely.
A badminton injury pulled you two together. So there's that kind of bizarre thing where life just do these little twists on you, like little rug pulls.
Yeah.
So that would have been, I'm guessing, once he moved to Dublin, you followed, and then before you know it, you're out in sunny Bray. And
absolutely. And it was Ed got Bray. He went to Greystones, actually, on the Dart for something. We actually looked at Greystones.
Right.
But Greystones...
Too posh.
So we had to kind of, come down there. Anyway, we went to Bray, and by God, it's been the best thing. It's a wonderful place.
Well, you're down by the Harbour, and then you're Puttle Road and all that. Now you're up near the town hall. So, and it is, I mean, I just think we're blessed along this East Coast. Like, there's just so much to do.
So much. And it's full of music and full of the arts, full of creativity.
So, of course, when you've got two young boys, Neil and you've got Darren, and that idea that you've got to basically get on with the important stuff of bringing up children and having a family and all that. Was the music in the background still, or was it just something that you sort of came to later on and realised, wait a minute, why not? Like
it was always in the background. And I did some work with a guy from Galway, Harry Monson.
Well, that was Tanglewood, was it?
That was Tanglewood.
Right, yeah.
But it's like it was what it was. It never went very far.
Millions of those good bands all over the world. Yeah.
Who's to say why? I don't know. But but then always had the singing in the background, singing in house parties and get-togethers and all kinds of things. Always had the guitar going. I've never been without a guitar.
Right.
So I've always had that, and always singing, always learning, always
And would the music itself evolve? Because I guess there's some music, and we mentioned little Joni here, like Joni Mitchell would be a great example of some music is just forever, really, in its own way. It has its own little kind of space and time. And I don't know for you whether those young years and learning music and first getting into music, whether that taste has evolved, whether you've always sort of had a kind of a strong leading towards the Irish. I know that the show will talk about it, but
I think my voice sounds Joni Mitchell-ish, Karen Carpenter-ish.
Oh, wow.
So it kind of lends itself to that kind of music. And I love folk music. I mean, I would always have listened to Mary Black, Maura O'Connell, all of the great Irish singers. So, I find that kind of folk music, or that kind of music, has a very deep soul and heart to it. There is always a story. And that's really what I love about when I sing, is to find the story and find the depth in it.
Right.
So I find it's easy to find them in those songs. I love soft jazz as well. There's great stories there. So I'm kind of moving a little bit to include some of that in their repertoire.
Yeah.
But it's mostly folk. I kind of have sought out songs from the heart, like Joan Baez, Joni Mitchell, Iris DeMent, who's kind of that like stories are amazing. They're poets. You know? I love that.
And of course, you've got a great lineup. You got Keith there on the saxophone and other instruments, Garvin Gallagher. I mean, is this a band that you've been with? I know you debuted in 2017 in a way in the Mill Theatre in Dundrum. That was a big step, which we'll get to. But I wonder whether the band itself is another thing that has evolved, because it's quite a big lineup and quite a heavy.
I mean, talk about having musical royalties. I look around and think, really, are they playing with me? It was a happy coincidence. I mentioned that I was doing the gig to a friend of mine, Nuala O'Toole, here in Bray, and her son Redmond is there.
Great Redmond, I played with him. Yeah,
So he actually put me in touch with Keith, who was the first contact, and then through Keith I got everyone else.
Wow.
And they're absolutely amazing.
Right.
I mean, it's some lineup, isn't it?
Well, they're all in their own different ways, you know, just beautiful musicians. So the idea they're together on stage is kind of a treat and a half.
It's a treat and a half. It really is. So, and I have a girl from Galway, Vera Crockwell is her name, and she plays accordion, and she has brought that to the show as well. And to hear herself and Keith on clarinet playing Irish music, it's like, it's amazing. Yeah.
We should mention that in 2017 you took that huge step. You went on to a very large stage, the Mill Theatre, and 200 people kind of seater. That was, I'm guessing, both a wonderful feeling, but also terrifying, I would think.
The interesting thing is, it was so wonderful, and it was like, when I walked on the stage, I just felt, it's gone, it's over, it's done. It was so good. The feeling of getting out there and doing it, and actually I love speaking to I didn't realise, I love speaking to the audience, and to get a little bit of banter going as well, tell the stories, and then sing the songs, and it just became almost like a one-to-one with everybody out there. Seriously, that's what it felt like. So I wasn't nervous on the stage at all, and that's what I find. I might be nervous, obviously, like everyone is, but when you get out there, it's like, it's a transformation.
And it must have, I mean, of course this is a little girl's dream come true, because we all don't know exactly where we end up and all those twists and turns and all the rest, but the idea that you have some little spark of a passion when you're a child and you manage to flame it later on I'm sure is a lovely feeling, that idea that I'm actually up here now, this is a thing that I'd wanted when I was a kid, and it's happening.
It's kind of hard to fathom it, really, isn't it, that that's something that I always dreamed about, and it was always there in the back of my mind to do it. It could have been where I never didn't try and said, okay, it's done, I can't do it, but I can't fathom it, but it's worked this time.
You are sort of in a family that I'm sure Ed, in his own way, coming from Florida, making a huge success in basketball here, he's a coach, he's well recognised, and Neil's had huge success in basketball, following his father's footsteps, and then of course Darren has had huge success. He plays football or something, doesn't he? I think
he's in Gibraltar at the
minute. There you go.
With the Irish team.
So I think it's probably just within, there's a kind of, an atmosphere in a house that you can do these things if you just,
Absolutely. It's a creative household, really. Right. It really is, with Darren and the football, which was his passion. And, I suppose when I thought about him when he was younger and trying to let him have his dream come true, that would be my own, not having had my dream come true from a young age, would have been sort of a driving force to help him to go with his passion, go with his dream.
And of course, like, your mum would have felt the same way, that if by chance when you were a teenager you'd gotten that opportunity to go and sing and tour and all that, she would have been petrified and would have been trying to make sure that every step of the way that you're safe and that you're happy and all those good things, which is something that you obviously did with Darren, that you just wanted to make sure, brilliant that he's living the dream, but that the dream better be, exactly, secured. And
I suppose from my parents' point of view, the music industry was very fickle, and so the fear would have been, get your 9-to-5 job and you can sing if you want to, which was kind of the mantra. Whereas I'm not sure that was the right thing to have done at the time, but that's how my life panned out. But for him, he's living his dream. And so for Neil, he's playing basketball at the highest level in Ireland, the Super League with Temple O. Right. But he has kind of combined two worlds. He's in the Bank of Ireland. He's on the program in finance.
So he followed his mum and he's followed his dad.
Exactly. So there you go. So
Nice.
But it is all go. It's a very busy household and always was.
Right.
Coming and going up between football and basketball and all kinds of things.
So we should say now with the show in the Whale, if there's a, I don't know, you've sort of hit upon it really, what sort of music you kind of are putting in the show.
Yeah.
But that sort of set, is it? I guess it's sort of a widescreen choice because you've got a great musicians, you've got all these different possibilities. Is it hard to sort of nail it down to, okay, these are the 15 songs or these are 20 songs?
It's very difficult. I have Robbie Overson playing from Bray here.
Of course, great Robbie, yeah.
He's great.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to hone it down because I want to sing every song I love. I really love them. So it's like, well, I got to get that in. But no, I have to whittle it down. And to give a broad range. So I want to introduce some of the newer songs. Obviously, I have a couple of new songs from Mick Hanley. Not been heard before. He wrote them and has given them to me.
Because we should say you have an EP hopefully at the gig, but you do have an album in the works for the autumn.
Will be ready for the autumn, and the EP is just kind of a precursor to it.
Right.
I'll have that. It's actually being printed at the minute, so thankfully that's a job done.
Yeah.
But yeah, the album will be coming in.
And if we settle on a title, we can add the link later on when the album's available to this. But just I don't know whether you're bouncing around with ideas.
I haven't. I mean, it's really a first album for Anne Randolph, so it's good.
Right.
I mean, it'll be Anne Randolph anyway. Whatever.
Right. There you go.
But no, I haven't.
I know Streisand called her first album was just Barbara Streisand's first album. That was the name of the album. She just said, "Why not?" Like, yeah. It kind of puts the stamp on it. This is a beginning, and this is where I started. And
it is. I mean, I love every song. I'm over in Beach Park Records with Dara Winston, and he's amazing. He has done fabulous work on the EP. I love it myself. So it's lovely.
Well, we should say we're dying to see now that this will be a kind of another one of those moments where that little dream kind of comes true, where you're getting to play with these beautiful people in a beautiful venue and all that. But yeah, dying to hear the album now, so I'm sure that'll be a treat.
Lovely, and so they're fantastic.
It's mainly heavy metal on the album, right? You're saying you just heavy metal versions with a bit of trash metal thrown in at the end just to build it up.
Yeah, no trash.
There you go.